The House. No, I'm not talking about the game I played with Super BWB, but a creepypasta story called The House. It's a voice recording that tells the story of three guys named Michael Maybach, Josh Horn, and Kevin Mitchell. They take a bet to stay the night in an old house that's said to be haunted. At first, nothing weird or out of the ordinary happens. It's just the three guys pretty much insulting each other and trying to find a way around the house. They eventually start flipping through the channels on the TV, still insulting each other until they come to Terminator. Awesome movie. Why do I point this out? Besides the fact that it's a great movie, this is where the first unusual thing happens. They see a bug-looking creature on the corner of the TV and try to kill it. Well, they can't. They discover that not only can they not kill it, but they think it's inside the TV. Well, eventually they give up and just try to ignore it, but then they hear a noise upstairs. They describe this noise as someone that's running. That's a little weird, don't you think? Well, then they hear a loud thud right after. It's guaranteed to make you jump. Well, if you were in the actual house, it would. Josh and Michael start to insult each other some more, and then Josh decides to go check out what made the noise. Kevin decides to go with, and after a little more arguing, Michael decides to go. They go up and start exploring the upstairs and find nothing in the first room, but the second room they discover is much worse. They discover what they think is a girl's room and see a bunch of bugs that appear to be eating something. That's just gross. They leave and find a third door, and they're all reluctant to open it, but after a bit of more debating and some more arguing, they do anyway. When they go in, they find nothing at first, but then they see something under the bed. Michael looks under the bed and sees nothing. Again, not at first. Then he feels something scrape his foot, and then he gets pulled under the bed. After this, Josh and Kevin start to panic and then argue about leaving. Josh wants to go, but Kevin wants to go back and see if Michael is alright. Jeez, there's a lot of fighting in this. Well, they ultimately decide to look for him, and they go back in the room, but they don't see him at first. Now, eventually they do see him crouching and try to get him out of the house with them, but then we hear some more struggling. Kevin gets away. He grabs the recorder and starts describing how Michael looked like a monster and that he brutally killed Josh. Then we hear a little girl giggling, which is something they had heard earlier. I forgot to point out. Some more struggling, and then the tape ends with the giggling. Now comes the question, is this a good creepypasta? Well, it depends what way you look at it. As a scary story, it's disturbing. The idea of being eaten by what was your friend because he turned into a monster is just fucking scary. I also like how it's a recording rather than being told in the first person or third person. It's different. All that being said, I think this is a very good creepypasta. I gotta be honest, when I first heard this, it scared the hell out of me. All the weird noises are disturbing, and hearing the little girl giggling kinda bothers me. Well, as Joe Bob Briggs always said, 4 stars, check it out.